Yes, well, back with you. Hello again, Jim Burns. What we got going on here today is the Lionel 1055 Texas Special. This one was offered around $59.60. It runs, needs a lot of oil, grease, cleaning, but we'll get to all that. But this is a forward-only locomotive. There was no E-unit, and so our mission here today is to add an electronic reverse unit like we did for the 628. If you remember that board, I'll show you one here in a moment. So here's the digital or electronic E-unit we're going to use. I get these off of eBay. Sadly, the price had to go up. I guess that's to be expected these days. Inflation running rampant. But anyway, we're going to use this. Comes with a nice 3M double stick pad there. Mounting tab. So we're going to install this and make this a forward, neutral, reverse, neutral, forward. Alright, so we'll get her running in both directions. And it's the same process I used for the 628, if you remember that episode of what, a month ago or so. But this is the supposed new and improved truck situation here. I'll try to zoom in. As you can see, the gears are bone dry. There's no grease, no oil, but it does run, so we'll fix all that after we clean it up. But you'll see there's no plastic plate on the bottom of this like the other style. Lionel got rid of that, and what they did was they put a heavy-duty sleeve bushing right there that holds the motor armature in the correct position for the worm gear and worm wheel to be meshed, and you don't have to worry about that little ball bearing in that plastic housing that would get out of alignment and strip your gears. But you can see our wheels are pretty corroded up there, so we'll clean all that. We'll get that. The coupler I'd already fixed a while ago. I replaced that spring, the centering spring on that. So, but that's a non-operating coupler that came with it. The spring was broken, so I replaced that. And there's no front coupler. We could try to add one. We've got the bracket here. But in order to do that, we'd have to get a longer coupler to reach outside the body. Let's zoom out again. Because the body, you know, comes out to here, so we'd need a long shank on our coupler. But the body is another story. This came to me free of charge about 30 years ago, maybe even longer than that. But, oh, what a sad story. Somebody had dipped her in paint stripper. And you can't do that with this plastic. And it caused all kind of warpage. And there's cracking. And the shell became brittle. And I actually had to set this out in the sun for a while to let it off gas until all of that was out of the shell. And then I took some wood and some shims and I blocked it all. This was all collapsed in. The roof was sunk in a little bit. It's still a little bit sunk in, but I can live with that. But I blocked it and forced the plastic back out. A little bit at a time, not all at once, or it would have really surely cracked. And then I just used shims to try and get it back into place. You can see it's still got a little bit of a bulge here, but we can live with that. But I used a heat gun over it after I would block it and just played the heat over it softly on low. And it took a long time, but I just worked out a little bit at a time, and we got her back in shape. And over the years, the plastic has, I don't know what happened to it, but it seemed like it was not as brittle as when that stuff was still soaked into the plastic. So after it off-gassed, it was all right. So I can, I can feel it's more pliable. It's not going to crumble in my hand like it was about to back then. So the only metal in this thing is the chassis itself and whatever weight the motor has, but that's really not enough. But it's still a good locomotive. I like it. This was the 1055, the Texas Special, but I think we'll keep the 1055, but we'll change it to a Pennsylvania. How about that? But we're going to add porthole. I already drilled out the sides here for porthole windows. We'll get some windows in there. I think I'll get a nose brace that Lionel made, just to stiffen this up a little better. And of course, no kids are going to be playing with this. And then to add a front coupler, we'd have to cut out our pocket here and add the coupler so it'll stick out here and have enough room to go back and forth. So we'd need a longer shank than that rear coupler on this one. I routed out the number board area. This was all solid here. I routed that out. I'm going to put some number boards in there if I can find something that fits, or maybe I can get some clear epoxy and fill that, and then add lights and numbers. We'll put a headlight in, an LED. This has an incandescent bulb, which still works, but we'll switch it to LED. It needs a horn, of course. That's gone, and we can replace that. So we'll try to fix her up as best we can and repaint her and give her a new life, huh? How about that? But first thing I want to do is change this to a reversible locomotive. And in order to do that, we've got to do some rewiring. Okay, so I'll show you what we got to do here. So the first thing we've got to do, we'll get rid of all of this wiring here for the light bulb and stuff. We'll move that around. We'll deal with that later. But as you can see, if you can see, I'll try to zoom in again. All right. One side of our field here goes up to this brush. So we'll unsolder that wire, and we'll move it to this lug here where they would be on a 3-position E unit. So this wire would go to this lug. All right, then we'll add another wire here. We can use whatever we got here. We'll maybe use a yellow one on that brush. Thusly, we'll solder that in place, and then we'll maybe take the red wire and we'll attach that to where our field wire is now soldered on the lug. We'll put that there. Okay, we'll attach that to there. That'll go to the E unit. And then we'll take another wire, and or we could just use this piece here. We'll take it away from the light bulb, but or we could use the heavier wire here, and we'll solder that to there. All right, and we'll leave this one here of the other side of the field. That's our ground, so we'll leave that there. Okay, so we got to do some rewiring, so we'll get into that. So let me get my soldering iron heated up and we'll commence to working on her. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to unsolder our field coil here. Alright. Get you back in the picture. And let's turn this up. Okay. There we go. So that's our field coil. Alright. So I think we'll use the red wire here. Dip that in some flux. And set that aside. Tin my wire here. Very nice. There's that. Might as well do all the wires while we're sitting there. Alright. That one looks good. And then we'll do our blue wire. Oh. There we go. Burn off all that flux if I can. There we go. Nice shiny tinning. Alright. So we'll bring this back in. We'll use a alcohol swab here just to get any flux that's left on there off of there. Very nice. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to work our field coil wire up into that tab there. We'll just coax it down into the hole here. Thusly. Alright. And we'll coax our red wire down in there. We'll trim all the excess off when we're done playing here. Put a little hook in that. Sorry if I wasn't in the picture. All right. We get a little bit of flux on that. I'd already cleaned up that tab there. Before I started that. Give us a fighting chance. All right, here we go. All right, there's our field wire. All right, let's go for our brush wire here. We'll use yellow on this one. Let's put a little hook on it. A little bit of flux. Not that much. All right. Very nice. All right, let's remove our other brush wires. Here's the one for the light bulb and the pickup roller. There we go. Get that off of there. Push those aside for now. All right, let's bring in our blue wire here. Make it about the same size as the other wires. And we'll trim as needed. Alright, there's that. Alright. Okay, so let's clean that up with our alcohol. See a little bit of flux left on there. Alright, create a hook on there. Alright, very nice. Get everything positioned. Like that. Grab my soldering iron again. Alright, very nice. Give all our wires a tug here, make sure everything's where we want it to be. Alright, cool. Okay, so now we'll use our center rail pickup wire here. And that'll go to our electronic reverse. That looks in good shape. Wire's a little dirty here. We clean that up. Alright. Thusly. Okay, so now we'll get our wire set over here. Alright, that's that. There's our light bulb. We don't need that at the moment. Just wrap that around there. Okay, I spent some quality time with cleaning this thing up here, and I got the front truck disconnected here, our pickup truck, and we got the wheels clean, axles lubricated, our pickup rollers cleaned and lubricated, so that's done. Just held on with a C-clip, of course. That's that piece right there. So we can put that back on. We'll guide our... Oh, what else I did? I flattened out the bracket that held the E unit. Alright, so if we ever want to add sound or anything to this, we can do that. Or maybe this is a great place for our electronic E unit. guide our wire up here. Put that back. Put our C-clip here. Guide that back on. There it is. And we'll give her a little pinch here. There we go. So that's back on. I cleaned up our motor truck here and oiled all the shafts on all the gears. I didn't grease the gears themselves, but I oiled all the shafts, the axles, and so that's all cleaned up, all the hair's out of it. It's nice and shiny, looking good. Alright. So now we gotta find a place for our E-unit. And what I was thinking, that's the reason I did that, flatten that out. We could put this here. And then just leave a little bit of wire loose to allow our motor to pivot from side to side. I still have to grease this right there, but yeah, we could do that. We can still access our C-clip to get our front truck off. Or you know what? We could go all the way to the front here. Leave enough room to get our C-clip off of there. Alright. Let me check something here. Just leave those laying there for the moment. Let's bring our shell in. Should be plenty of room. There's nothing really in there. So let's make sure our slot's in the right place. Okay, that's engaged. Alright, there it is. So that'll work. Alright, so we'll put her right here at the front under the nose, and then we can just put a little bit of slack in our wires here. Maybe even cut them out. We'll just cut these short another inch, and then that should give us enough play for our motor to turn back and forth without pulling on anything. Okay, like I said, I think I want to cut about let's cut this. How about right here? That looks good. We'll make all these the same. Or close anyway. Get that off that right there. Alright, then we got our red one here. And thusly. Alright. Get our wire strippers here. that one, and too much. Okay, so now we'll tin these wires, make them more solid here. Alright, let's twist these around a little bit here. Okay, get these little pieces of insulation out of here. Okay, let's get our flux out. Give each wire a little dip into our tub of flux. All right. How are we doing with our iron here? I've been seeing people use these, I call them chore girls, but they're, this one's actually copper, but they're dipping their soldering irons in there, and it actually does a nice job of cleaning that tip up. I'm happy with that. I'm glad I came across that. I don't know who come up with that, but that's pretty cool. Alright, let me get my solder out here. And let's watch her smoke. Alright. There we go. Dip it into the copper thing and it cleans it right off. How about that? Okay, let's investigate our pickup, roller pickups here. Let me try to smooth that solder joint out a little bit, so it'll slip into our screw terminal better. There we go. Oh no, that didn't work. Alright, then I'll just cut this little bit off here, like that. Clean up this mess here on this insulation. There we go. Alright, that one's done. Okay, we'll get an alcohol swab here. Clean up all our wires. Want to get all the flux off. Do a nice tidy job. Alright. I think I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I had repaired that rear coupler, but there's an update on that. But what I wanted to show you is this one side here was broken off, so we can still use the coupler, but we won't be using the spring anymore. We'll just let it float around there, and well, it goes this way, but it won't have a centering spring anymore, but that's okay. That's fine. That's a shame that I didn't realize that was cracked. I don't know when that happened. I don't think I did it when I put the new spring in, but you can see down in here right about here. That's where that piece was, and that holds the other side of the spring, so that all broke off. So and that's what that looks like. So it looks like it's been manhandled before, so maybe me replacing that spring was the last straw. She couldn't handle it. So we'll put the coupler back in, but right now we're worried about our reversing unit, so we'll continue on with that. So let's get back to our project. We got one more wire to attach, and that would be a chassis ground for the outer rails. We'll use a white wire for this one. Alright. And let's see, we're going to go to this tab sticking up here on this side of the chassis, and we'll get out the big dog here. That's a little better. Alright, now we got a nice place for our soldering to take place. Alright. Grab a little flux here. We'll dip our wire in. Get our solder together here. And then we will grab our toothpick here. Put some flux on that area there. All right. Okay, I brought in my helping hands here just to hold the wire in place, and then we'll get our soldering iron going here. It should be hot enough by now. And we'll just hold it up against there for a few moments. Let that tab get nice and hot. Oh, it's cold. See how it turned gray there? That's not good. We want it to be shiny. Just like that. Yeah, when you see the solder turn gray like that, that means it's a cold solder, and you gotta do better. So that's what we did. All right, we'll let that cool for a minute. All right. I think we're done with our helping hand for the moment. Okay, so we only need a little bit of wire to go to our reversing unit. I think we'll just keep it the same length as the others, approximately. There we go. Save that piece of wire for another time. I'm sure I'll use it. Strip this one. A little more than that. There we go. Twist that around. Dunk that into our flux. Didn't need to be that much flux, but that's all right. Okay, let's go after it here. Very nice. All right. So now let's get our reversing board mounted. Let's spin her around here. Let me get these metal shavings from our grinding off right here. All right. All right, let's get our extra flux off our wires here. And down here where we soldered to the chassis. Get that cleaned off. All right, very nice. Very, very good. We'll take our swab here, clean the area where we're going to be mounting our double stick foam pad here. Let's clean that area up just while we're there. That looks nice. I'm not going to stick it down permanently yet. I'll put a piece of wood down first. We'll test it, make sure it's worked before we permanently mount it with the foam tape there. They're bare to get back off if something's wrong with the board. So let's do that. Alright, let's start putting our other wires back in here. Let's go with the ground first. This last one is the cutout switch, so we're not using that one. That's if you just want it to go in the last direction you had it running, but we're not going to use that. Okay, our power wire here. Let's get this off of there. Swing that around like so. Well, we could cut a little more off of that one, especially since that's our power. We don't want that sticking out. That's better. Alright. Then we need an armature. Cut a little bit off of that one. Thusly. Very nice. And let's get our other armature here. This is our blue one. Oh, gotta take a little bit off of that one too. There we go. Alright, and then our last one, I might as well cut it before we even try. Alright. I got a hair on my finger on that one. So we'll put that in there. That fits nicely. No bare wires sticking out. Alright. She's all put back together. I haven't greased the gears yet or anything, but we'll give her a test here. What's up with that? Is that on there? No, it wasn't. There it is. Alright. Now, we don't want that to short out or anything, so we'll just put a block of wood on there to insulate it from the chassis. Alright. Now remember, this puppy has never gone in reverse before, so let's hope all our gears are not so worn that it gives us trouble. Spend all its life going forward. Alright then, let's take a look here. went forward. Or I mean reverse. There's forward. Yeah, baby. Running good. Both directions. All right. That's cool. That's what we wanted. Very nice. So we know that works. So what we can do here now is mount this where we need to. I'm going to keep it close to the truck mounting pin there, but not so close that we cover it up in case we ever need to work on it. So we'll put it right about there. Excellent. And if we put that right there, we already test fitted this, so it should be good to go. I don't want it that close to our there we go. Let's give her another test. How about with the shell on this time? Huh? Neutral, forward, neutral, reverse. Very nice. It's running real nice. But I'm happy with that. That's a reverse in a locomotive that never had reverse. How about that, huh? Alright, let me take this shell off again. That fit on real nice. Very good. Okay, I got her turned over on her side now that we know that works. So let's get our grease out here. Give that a nice coat. Our worm gear and worm wheel here. Get some up in there. It'll spread around as it runs. Should be in great shape here. Alright. I already oiled all the shafts and axles on the motor truck anyway. So we'll get some more grease on there. Like I say, it'll spread itself around as it runs down the track. But this ought to help her live a long, healthy life. And go in reverse. Alright, that's enough of the grease for the moment. We'll get some oil down in there. There we go. There we go. Nice little drink. A little bit on the pickup rollers. Not a lot, just a little dab. And if you shake too much, you can get it all over the roller. Alright. So we'll reach up in here and put a little coating of oil on our, where the truck meets there, and then we'll put just a little coating of oil on our guides here. Alright. Put that away. Run that back and forth a little bit. Spread that oil out there. Very good. Our shaft looks like it could use another drink. Thusly. All right. So I still got to put the frame box back on. That's what they call that. That's the frame box. It just slips under here. But for the moment, put her back on the rail. That one wheel was just out of place there. That's why that was giving me trouble there. I didn't seat it correctly. So, alright, now she's back in. Very nice. Alright. See if I can get a wider shot here. Just go back and forth a little bit. Very nice. Look at that. Neutral. She can crawl. Yeah, baby. All right. So there she is. Forward and backward, 1055. Formerly a forward only. Alright. So, I hope you enjoyed that. And till the next time, toodles.